Hello everyone, welcome back to Bonarescu TV. Today I'm going to show you how much a Romanian trip would cost for 1 week. The biggest expense out of this trip is probably going to be your travel to and from Romania. I think knowing how much you would spend per person is really helpful in making that decision where you want to go to Romania, how long you want to be there, and kind of what you want to be doing in Romania. So to start out, I'm going to be showing you how much flights would cost from my local airport. Obviously, each and every airport will have different prices, and each and every airline will have different prices depending on where you're at. I know LA and places on the East Coast like New York are actually cheaper than where I'm going to show you from. So this could be a little bit higher, it could be a little bit lower depending on where you're at. And if you're coming from Europe, going to Romania, your travel costs are a lot lower. So let's get started here. Let's dive in and see how much travel would cost to Romania. All right, here we are on Google Flights. We're going to be looking at flights from Salt Lake City to Bucharest. Salt Lake City is where I would fly out of. Obviously, other places can be cheaper and more expensive. Wow, look at these flights in November. These are so cheap. We've got to look at one real quick. This is unheard of how cheap these are. Let's look here. Let's see what we've got going on. So, wow, it's with Delta. Delta is my preferred airline. So this is an incredible price, $464 while I'm recording this. That's absolutely incredible. Let's go look at some other months. December. Wow, all these months have this similar pricing. February, even March. And then you get to April and it starts getting more expensive, ramping up for summer, May, June. June and July are really when you see it get quite expensive. So let's look at July 10th through July 14th. This will probably give us some of the higher end pricing to go to Romania. So from Salt Lake, it's with Delta, my preferred airline, it's $14.44. With other airlines, you can get it cheaper. I'm a Sky Miles member with Delta, so I always fly with them. New York, let's look out of JFK. $400 cheaper, $1,087. So that's really good. Definitely a lot cheaper during this time. And let's go to LAX. Yep, $40 cheaper than in New York. So this is awesome. So it's going to cost you anywhere from $400 to $1,500, and this is a good price range for one person. So this is your biggest expense. So there you got to see the average price of flying to Romania from Salt Lake City, JFK, and LAX. How cool that we got to see $454 flights. That's absolutely unheard of. I think even like $700 flights is like a good price to go to Romania. So $454, absolutely outrageous. You need to book that if you get that. And obviously travel's your biggest expense. So if you can book that for a little bit cheaper, you're going to save yourself quite a bit of money per person. But let's look at some Airbnbs next. Romania has a plethora of Airbnbs. They're usually reasonably priced and I think fairly accommodating. I think really nice Airbnbs. So let's look at a couple here real quick and see what we've got. We have Airbnb. This is what I used when I was in Romania. It was usually really helpful. We've got our date range, one guest. You can always bump it up and they're usually pretty good. So we're going to be starting in Bucharest. We're going to the city center. I think you can see everything you want here in the city center. There's so many great things around, so much easy public transportation. It's the perfect place to be. Here's our first unit, the Oasis Old Town. Look at that first picture, beautiful. Let's go in and look at some others. Yeah, I think a great apartment, nothing crazy special, not huge, but enough for one person for sure. And wow, look at that view. You get such a great view. You're in the center of the city, and all for $752 for 2 weeks. That's an incredible deal. I think well worth your time to go to a place like this in Romania. Super awesome area. The next one, we have this one in Old Town. Beautiful terrace. You get to see over all the skyline of the city, which is absolutely incredible. I've actually stayed with this lady before, Camellia. She's actually a really good host, so shout out to her. Let's look at some of these photos. Cute living room, good colors, makes you feel, happy to be there. It's not kind of depressing like some places are. This is a happy place, cool full bathroom, and the patio's incredible. The views from that patio are awesome. Wow. So definitely a place to look at. I don't know what these additional photos are. Cleaning stuff, I guess. So they're really taking cleaning seriously. All right, that works. Beautiful place. Looking at it, $941. It's a little more expensive for 2 weeks, but beautiful view. It's well worth it. And this is the last one from Bucharest. This is right in the downtown center. It's a studio apartment. So it's not going to be huge. Decent view, nothing special. But if you're going to be spending most of your time outside, this will work. It'll work for you for one person. So nothing crazy special, but the price here is where the real deal is at. Look at that price, $458. That is absolutely insane. Even before the price drop, that's a really great steal of a deal. For just one person to stay there, Romania is cheap. Now, let's jet over to Sibiu. Sibiu is a beautiful city, one that is in pretty much the center of the city. It's a German town. You can go hiking. You can do so many things from there. I would say well worth the stay. Let's look at one. I mean, you can see the average prices here, $363 for 2 weeks. You know, that's like $20 a day, $30 a day, which is very, very reasonable. But let's look at this studio apartment, downtown center of the city. Like, couldn't get any closer to the center. Nothing special. It's a studio as well. Cute little area though. Great little area, but nothing special. The price, $578. 2 weeks, dead center of the city. Absolutely incredible city. $578, reasonable pricing. Airbnbs in Romania are such a great deal. You've got to check them out. Obviously, it's a big expense, but it's much cheaper than getting there. So go book yourself an Airbnb now. So that wraps up pretty much your 2 biggest expenses of a trip to Romania. I just want everyone to know probably the most expensive Airbnb I stayed at while I was in Romania was $89 a night. Most of the other ones were about $30 to $40, and they were incredible. Super great hosts. They're always happy to have you. Super nice people and super accommodating. So I would rave about the Airbnbs in Romania way more than I would ever really want to. So obviously check out Airbnbs. Some of the other things that come into play when you're talking about traveling around Romania is depending on how you travel. You can rent a car. It's about $800 to $1,000 a week. Not many people do that. Most people travel by trains because it is a little cheaper. You can also work or do things while you're on the train. So that can definitely vary. It probably costs about $300 to travel to most of the country and back to Bucharest. So not too big of an expense, especially for travel. Food in Romania is probably one of the most reasonable things you can get. So for like a full 5-course meal, whatever, it's probably about, 60 lei at like some of the nicer places. So 60 lei is probably about $20. No, probably a little less right now. It's probably around $15. Your average pizza is probably about $10. And that's a full-size pizza that, my wife and I could share. So food is really very, very reasonable in Romania, and a lot of the attractions are reasonable. So you go out to a museum, you go out to Castelul Peles, or Peles Castle, or Cantacuzino, the one that was featured in Wednesday. These places, it's like 10 lei to get in, which that's like $2 to get into these places. So very reasonable to go to attractions, to travel around. And the last bit of expense that I can think of off the top of my head is if you travel in Bucharest. You go to the metro, you take the tramvai, pretty much any travel. It's going to be like 5 lei a day, which maybe it's 10 lei a day now, which is $2 a day. Not bad at all. Really reasonable. So if you're looking at the total cost of a Romania trip, It can definitely vary depending on what you want to do. If you want to travel around the country, if you want to stay put in beautiful Bucharest, the Paris of the East, whatever you want to do, it can vary. But I would plan on basically $1,000 to $2,000 per person. This gets you really good, gets you great accommodations with Airbnb. Depending on your flights over, your travel over, this could really get you some great Airbnbs, easy travel around the country, beautiful places to see, get you into anywhere, eat whatever you want, try the delicious covrige, try the delicious doorbab. Most Westerners in Romania will know about doorbab. Or try whatever dessert and whatever food you want, because Romania has delicious food. So thanks for joining. It's great to know the costs of going to a place before you ever go. But if you stayed on this whole video, please hit subscribe and like. One of my goals about starting Bonarescu TV is to get my wife and my kids back to Romania so that I can show my twin kids what it's like to be in Romania. So every subscribe and every like really helps me achieve that goal. So thank you guys for watching. I always appreciate you guys watching. And for you Romanians, remember, să fiți mândri că sunteți români. See ya!